I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves.
Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter that got blasted out by Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua has finally reacted after Jake Paul's new training clips went viral, with fans analysing every slowed-down punch and combo from Paul's latest camp. Joshua's reply adds even more energy to the growing hype. As a former unified heavyweight champion, AJ isn't someone who gets impressed easily, but is paying attention. With Paul looking sharper, faster, and more focused than before, Joshua's response shows he respects Paul's improvement while still trusting that his own experience will matter most when they meet on fight night.
And Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua, really, in my view. It's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area-level fighter, a British area-level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glimpse of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price on the planet in order to make.
When Paul was still early in his boxing career, Joshua surprised many people during a 2025 interview by giving him a positive remark. When asked about Paul, Joshua replied that he's good for the sport. That comment showed he recognized the attention Paul brought to boxing, even when many doubted Paul's potential. Now the fight is real, and the pressure is much bigger. Paul enters with a 12-1 record and 7 knockouts, and he's about to face the hardest matchup of his career. Joshua steps in with a 28-4 record as a former unified heavyweight champion.
I was trying to fight Anthony Joshua now. How do you think that's going to go?
Man, Anthony Joshua, I don't know why I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. No disrespect to Jake Paul, I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. I'm saying like within like 2-3 rounds.
Yeah.
You saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
Come on, I ain't never seen Francis get knocked out.
Yeah, that was huge too.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
huge.
both huge.
Yeah, he's huge. But you gotta hear the story. You gotta get Francis Ngannou in here and hear this story though.
I'd love to.
Bro, he was set up though, for real.
On that fight?
Yeah, I believe him. Cause here's what they do, like what sometimes what people don't understand. Like in boxing too, I don't know a whole lot about boxing. You know, when you fight for promotion, they promote that fighter. So he's fighting in Saudi Arabia. So they was probably fighting at 3 a.m. and they had him in the locker room since like 12.
During their first official face-off on November 21st, Joshua didn't hold back at all. He said this is a serious matchup, calling it huge, massive, and a major event that combines fame with real ability. He made it clear he's fully locked in and won't take it lightly. At the same press event for their December 19th fight, Paul was asked about his expected weight. He said he had been cutting down for another opponent, making the move back to heavyweight more challenging. He estimated he would come in somewhere between about 215 and 225 pounds.
Team, nothing negative. He's here to do his job. I could sit up here, as I said, and try and address all the things that Jake doesn't do good. But I'm fighting Jake that's going to do everything good on December 19th. So let me focus on that. He's a good person, does his thing, great team around him, puts in the work, and that's why he's sitting here now. Anyone out there in the world that works harder than the next person deserves to be a front runner, and he's a front runner in the boxing game right now.
Respect. Jake, can I ask, it feels to me from afar, you're in a bit of a lose-lose here, because it seems like a lot of people want to see you get obliterated, right? A lot of people want to see you get your comeuppance. And if you do pull off the upset, or if this fight goes the distance, again, the whispers will start to come. People will discredit you. People will say, this, that, and the other about the fight. How do you balance that, and how do you deal with that?
Man, I've already won at every single thing in life. I'm playing on house money. I've accomplished all my dreams. Said everything I was going to do, from becoming, the first influencer to become an actor on Disney, to becoming the biggest YouTuber in the world, to rising to the top of boxing and having the largest viewed fight in the history of the sport. I've accomplished everything, so this is a win-win and another challenge for myself. I've never been knocked down or knocked out even in sparring, but I'm in a sport where that happens. And I know this is dangerous, but this is no different than a soccer player, losing in the World Cup on the biggest stage. If that's how it goes, if I take one of those punches that Francis Ngannou took and I'm on the canvas, let's see how tough I am. Let's see if I can get back up. But I'm ready for that. I'm prepared for that mentally, and I know that he has to deal with me as well. This is not as one-sided fight as people think, and I have power. I have the ability to put people to sleep, and so that's why I took this challenge, and I know it's crazy and all of that, but I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. My team's excited, and everyone believes in me, and that's all that matters.
How much do you expect to weigh on fight night?
Man, I was cutting down for Gervonta, so it's been a little tough getting back up in some strength for this, but anywhere 215 to 225, we'll see.
Okay, and I want to clear something up with you, AJ. I saw in the press release that it said that on weigh-in day, you can't weigh above 245, but post weigh-ins, you can weigh whatever you want. There's no rehydration clause or anything like that. Is that accurate?
Whatever it says, yeah, I think that's the case, but my focus, 111 kilograms, is what I got to weigh in at, right? I do kilograms, not pounds.
I don't know. You stumped me on that one. What is 111? Should I look it up?
240.
Jake Paul says this is his moment to shut down critics who claim he only fights smaller or faded opponents. He says that by stepping in with Anthony Joshua, a proven heavyweight and former world champion, is showing he belongs at a high level. Paul believes that if he beats Joshua, all doubt ends. Their fight is a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight bout under standard rules. It will be 8 rounds, 3 minutes each, with both fighters wearing 10-ounce gloves. Joshua must also weigh 245 pounds or less to keep the fight fair. A loss in December will be added to both fighters' official records.
Fight a real boxer. They said fight someone your size. They said fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight. The world. Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. My voice cracked, I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025, USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you wish for. Jake versus Joshua, Judgment Day. He has a 90% knockout ratio, but I have a 100% chance.
Teddy Atlas has a careful but curious view of the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua matchup. He warns it might be too big of a jump for Paul because of Joshua's huge advantage in experience and skill, but he doesn't fully dismiss the fight either. He points out Joshua's recent knockout loss and long break from the sport, saying those could create openings. Even though he thinks Joshua is still the stronger and more skilled fighter, Atlas says he's interested to see what version of Joshua shows up on fight night.
Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also... I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some ghost in his attic. There are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's gotten rid of some of them, but I know that in the position of a fighter coming where he's coming from, there are ghosts in your attic. I don't know if those ghosts are still taking up space. I don't know if maybe there could be no better exorcism for those ghosts than fighting a Jake Paul. That might be just the exorcism you need to clear out the attic. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. That's the mystery part of this. That's what makes it so... It makes it two things at once. Intriguing and some...
Ryan Garcia talks about how much could change for Jake Paul if he loses. He says Joshua's power is something Paul must take seriously and that a loss could affect him physically and damage his reputation and future opportunities. He explains the fight could shift Paul's career and shows how big the challenge truly is. Garcia highlights that Joshua's strength and technique make this a serious situation, and the risk is real. He says training, discipline, and awareness are necessary for Paul to handle what Joshua brings. Another issue mentioned is Joshua's inactivity, as he has only fought twice in the past 2 years. After losing a split decision to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua has been far less active.
Jake Paul or Anthony Joshua?
Anthony Joshua?
By far?
Yeah. Too easy.
Why did he take that fight?
I think he didn't have no opponents and he wanted to make Netflix happy, and I think he made a misstep. I think he was handling his career perfectly.
Yeah.
I think he would have beat Gervonta.
I think he would have beat Gervonta too.
But I think this is a big misstep. I think he let his ego get in from him and let
Jake Paul stepping in with Anthony Joshua isn't just a bold choice. Many analysts see it as extremely risky for his health. Reporters like Ariel Helwani warned that Joshua's power and long experience could put Paul in danger of serious injury, pointing to Joshua's past knockout wins as a reason.
His last 7 fights has been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, if this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury, for crying out loud. You can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect to get a result. So, nothing's going to no doubt's going to disappear. All that's going to
Rising heavyweight Moses Itoma also advised Paul to think about his long-term health before focusing on the money, warning that one wrong punch could leave lasting damage. Former pro Amir Khan also made his view clear, saying Joshua could hurt Paul badly and that brain injury.
Joshua sparked him out in like 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when I don't?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro, you're fighting like one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Like, come on, like respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's gonna get hurt badly, and this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly, because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on. I mean, AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat styles there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you don't look. You can't be surprised if AJ is going to do the same to. What's it called again?
MMA fighter Darren Till added his thoughts too, calling Jake Paul's challenge to Joshua disrespectful. He believes Paul, even though he's a strong promoter, hasn't earned the right to call out someone of Joshua's level. Many people in the boxing world agree, saying Paul is stepping way beyond his ability.
Is it all just, does he actually believe that he can beat Anthony Joshua? Is it all for clout? Is it all just to keep his... I don't know. I mean, fucking... It's a little bit disrespectful as well. Like, Anthony Joshua hasn't fucking been a heavyweight world champion, beating all these absolute killers just to get called out by Jake Paul. But look, if Jake Paul believes in himself, then, you know, you can't really fault that. Like, obviously, but sometimes it comes across as a bit delusion as well. Because I know for a fact that I'd fight Jake, I'd beat him up easy. Not easy.
David Hay has issued a serious warning about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a huge mismatch. Speaking to Sky News, Hay said Joshua could badly injure Paul and raised major concerns about his safety. He said if Paul underestimates Joshua's size, strength, and experience, the fight could end in a terrible way. Joshua stands 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is around 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua usually weighs between 240 and 245 pounds, and for this fight he must stay under 245. Paul has mostly fought at cruiserweight and only recently reached around 227 in heavyweight fights. This difference in size and weight gives Joshua a clear advantage in power and reach.
money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other. And Anthony Joshua, he's not a bodybuilder. He's a prime athlete. He's someone who's dedicated his life to this. He lives it. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's a real clean athlete who is going to inflict some horrendous damage to Jake Paul. And I hope we've got a referee in there who's quite compassionate, because if Jake Paul is left, up against the ropes with Anthony Joshua.
Meanwhile, Joshua's team expects a quick and dominant win. Eddie Hearn confidently predicted Paul will be stopped within 4 rounds, saying that once Joshua lands clean on Paul's chin, the fight ends right away. Hearn sees this matchup as an important opportunity for Joshua to rebuild his reputation and set up a bigger fight in 2026, possibly against someone like Tyson Fury. Focus is shifting again toward the biggest names in the heavyweight division.
AJ versus Jake Paul. Not gonna lie, did not ever see this happening, like ever, ever, ever. So were you just as surprised when he agreed to do it as the world was?
Yeah, I mean, I had to deal with obviously knowing that it might happen, and then the contract coming through signed by Jake Paul, and I sort of looked at it, I was like, oh my God, he's done it. So yeah, look, I have to give him credit. I do think he's crazy. I think he's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
Do you think Jake's crazy?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, listen, for us, we received an offer that was massive money and a really easy fight. We were talking about fighting this week here in an 8-round fight. Now we're fighting in an 8-round fight for 40 times more money against Jake Paul. So I love the opportunity for...
So the main question is whether Jake Paul is putting himself in real danger by stepping into the ring with Anthony Joshua.